I'm a baby. Now what you do, my dear, and you bro live or Adom TV. So what's your Sempa 94.7 FM. And anapai in Koma ye chichen efa Agyapa Royalties Deal. See I say hun semna kwe bebre wa my Ghana emu anapai e se tie ho ase na ye bisampo say we eye kwan a aban yi pese ni abrofo kasa me friend no state capture. Say we person of foul nam omani nyina no mum eno ne sa na mo aban no A2 announce so etisen meko mi zoom no so na fei mene ora Franklin Cudjoe a oye president Imani Africa obeka me ho e wo zoom no so na mene no atwetwe enkomo ora Cudjoe to me ka me mo akwaba
me chawo etisen chief
nyame adom ye ho ye pasa so ho ye
patwai.
Well, fantastic. And me bon pa say utwi no ebetimi aflu na yetimi atwetwe enkomo no yi but say me sha say a wonti ase e wo Agyapa Royalties Deal yi ho anything Franklin.
Well, media mechanitia sankra mechanitia like is it here or short for short, right?
Yeah. Cudjoe wadaroma ben wa fidie ni kakra man na ma won so ni ntimi nto nka yi wadaroma.
The pachopi ni American say ohwe deal nankasa unless utimu nyadin ni anka opesobo abro ni beyi unless you don't subscribe to these things, this deal should not be entertained in any part of the world. Nyantia, we've reached this conclusion is simple. Yewo japadia o papa di japadia jao and as a japadia work from which is the gold. Deal no see 75% of all gold assets in the country. Just a gold in our country animal. 75% meaning some American or trimu. But substantial amount of it, 75% of all the resources, gold resources, I work room animal. Yet the Nina Ekoji just $1 billion with some dividends yielding almost $10 million a year in perpetuity. Just what it essentially means is that you are saying that gold nanka I saw tono maybe $2,000 an ounce and not $2,200 an ounce because gold prices are rising so well. What the also they be oji sikano sesia. Now oji sikano sesia no 75% of all gold assets are work romano. What depressing no? Meaning the San American no trimo. You've reduced the value.
What is so? What is so?
What is so to the extent that their real value is just 30% of what you're expecting. Obi Bekacho say, oh, that is discounting in economics. But this type of discounting is not proper and it's not scientific. Nyaya can say, you cannot, for the life of a country's resources, go and create this type of vehicle where you are depressing the assets, which are very valuable right now. Offshore gold prices are doing very, very well globally. And it's likely to continue that way. In fact, it's likely to break the 2,400 ounce per ounce mark. And even all gold analysts have accepted that it's likely to go there. Inti all price of 500 million or maybe an amount of about $1 billion in order to give all these away in perpetuity, just forever. And can Attorney General Crapo na eka say, oh, untimi nyesa na the whole country no. Ada na okwakoton akoma obi. So that the entire duration of your life or the life of generations to come, you are mortgaging all of this for just a paltry amount of $1 billion. And Attorney General can say, at least make it 30 years. Attorney General Breyer, in fact, Attorney General must have spent almost 1 year because from the letters we are seeing, you could see exactly that Attorney General was at pains saying, "Share deal with." And fasobia niso, brofokasam unconscionable, meaning you must be very wicked to dream of such a deal. It is unconscionable And it also strains in fact, it ties the state's hands. Attorney Pesaka say, deal na wakoye no. Yehwe mu pa o pesa o kire say, sa private company no, omo be share yen so to the extent that yentimi kan hwi about to say even selecting board members now, they have to decide the type of independent board members we have to choose. And they can decide that if there's a discussion at the board level which does not favor Ghana or which favors Ghana, they can choose to use their leverage and kick out and virtually kick us out. But the most shocking aspect is that almost the proponents almost supported deal and they say, oh, it's just some amount of gold assets, about 12 or 18 of them that will be utilized under this process. It's not true. Because if you look at the agreement, there are about 48 mining licenses that currently is under purview. Just instead of the 12, now more country, there are about 48 mining leases that are currently impaired by the deal. After so, the Attorney General says unconscionable is that it's an open-ended deal. Just say gold assets now, apart from the 48 mining licenses, so Ghana gold. If Ghana prospects new gold sites,
okay, but I remember more on the issue as you see already. So the agreement makes it impossible for a future government to replace managers. So abanfophobia obeba ontimi enyen sachaye won penifo a omoda edumaiko ano no. Per the release myth ediba abonte bi kwa mesem to see ache say afibia no wo mo wo sa kwanya no so be election of new members, board members and our managers for Agyapa Royalties. But to sanche mu no eno wate. And also you say entaso.
No, that is even funny. Because the point is that if you look at, they are trying to explain after the fact. The issue clearly is simple. We share the arrangement of the board level at the board level. The private shareholders would have more control. In fact, they can decide who should be at the board meeting at each point in time. We are entitled to just only two board members. In the case of the second board member, the private shareholders must even agree to the as to who the character of the independent board member from Ghana would look like. So yes, it is true that Ghana could be changing its board members, but we have just two, and the two would have to be subjected to approval by the private shareholder. So it is not correct to suggest that the entire board would be replaced. It's not true. That's just the Ghana part of it. So that has to be explained. Yana Maker say the deal is also very unconscionable and short changes us drastically is that. Apart from the 48 mining leases now, the deal looks at right now, which constitutes 75% of our assets. So Ghana or one I see maybe who gold or baby. It is the company that must decide, that must have the first point of refusal. As I train 90 days for them to accept whether they are likely to buy it or not. So you put this company in a in Ghana in a disadvantaged position to the extent that they are not just bringing any significant amount of money, but they are going to get so much. Just look at it this way. Private companies are what country animal, gold companies. They come with money, right?
Yes.
And then they pay dividends at the end of the year. Sometimes we know the dividends have not been quite high. I mean, if you look at the Goldfields and Newmont, the highest they paid is not even up to 2%. Which tells you that if anybody is telling you, in fact, the myth proponents are telling you, say, oh, you're 500 million, now 1 billion, but every year, no, you're dividend. The dividend you are going to get is likely to be just under 1% or at maximum 1%. So of the 1 billion that you have going to receive, you are going to get a yearly dividend of just $10 million. That's if you are lucky. That is why we are saying that this deal does not make sense, because if you look at the fact that there are about 5.5 million ounces of gold, looking at the entire 75% or 75.6% assets, this in Kofono, it's about 5.5 million ounces of gold. Okay. If you discount it, even by, I mean, 8 points away.
Okay.
Even if you have not discounted the value of these 5.5 million ounces of gold, no, what you are likely to get will be not less than $4 billion US, right? Now, if you discount it, and you need to discount it at present value or the present comparable rate of almost 7.5 or 9%, not discount it at almost 75% or 60%. When you discount it at that point, you're likely to get about $200 million or $250 million a year. So this whole convoluted a year to say it is not true. In fact, the republic. In fact, the government has shortened the republic. What's in American Asia? Government, they've shortened the republic to the extent that economically it doesn't make sense. Structurally, legally, it is disproportionately against us. And indeed, it is just unconscionable.
Okay, but Franklin,
so we make some.
Franklin, na unya sa enchiremu, but per the structure set with the Japan monetized flow, no. Mami found from kakra na mendu adwenche ewo ho. Omo che say royalties will flow from the specified mining assets to the Bank of Ghana and will be split as follows. Mami ma break down. No? 20% will go to the Minerals Development Fund. And then again, 2.4% will go to the Ghana Revenue Authority as a revenue management. There are other and further breakdown to quite a better so a baby to say, yeah, Franklin.
No, that is how funny it looks again. You see, when somebody wants to deceive people, they tend to look at this, they tend to bring up these numbers. What is the value of all that computation? That's all you should be looking at. It's not the fact, say, 20% back or 30% back or 20% of what? 30% of what? We are saying that 20, 30, 40% of whatever you'll be receiving is just what's it called? Minuscule. Because the point is that you are just mortgaging, you are going to get about just $1 billion if you are lucky. And we are saying that is depressing the values, because what you've done is that at the end of every year, you're likely to get about just 10 million in dividends, right? So it is that amount that they are saying that 10% will go here, 20% will go here, but they've not told you the value of that is coming after every year. That's what the conversation should be. Now, Obi Cudjoe said, a deal, remember 50%, now we're near G. But who deal now amount? So that's what they've done. They've obfuscated the issues. They've made it look as if it is some stellar, nice idea. 20% will go here, 30% will go here. Even that arrangement is so wrong that it's like the entire Ghanaian institutions are working for this company. The Bank of Ghana received the assets received the royalties or payments in cedis, convert it into dollars, and then give it to these people. And then we are saying that the Ghana Revenue Authority would also make sure would account for revenue assurance. Well, that's their duty. The fact of the matter, Chief, is that you look at the bulk of what these percentages are supposed to look at. Let's not be confused. Let's not confuse ourselves. We are arguing that you are spending almost $40 million to go and raise 500 million. And then in the process, you are mortgaging our 75% of gold assets, depress the value to almost 30%, and you are going to get $1 billion. It is quite sensible to rather do this. Why don't you just sell off 25% of these assets to a private company and raise the money? Look, what they are doing is that they are essentially paying 10% interest rates on borrowing money. When we have managed to get bonds at almost 6.5% for 6 years, every year. Who does that? So this whole thing about securitization and looking at it as if it's a mortgage and it's a wonderful thing that has never happened, it's quite nauseating. In fact, you share the entire process, and there are comparable values to or examples to look at. This is not the first time this is being done.
Okay, but Franklin, about on the issue of traditional authorities, one more right. Traditional authorities losing their rights. Traditional authorities still own their rights in this deal.
Chief, let's not even answer questions that have not been asked. The fact of the matter is that it is only the traditional authorities have come in because presumably they are the custodians of lands and then whatever they are. But every mineral found in anybody's land belongs to the states. The royalties is the issue that they are talking about. But the fact of the matter is that if you've mortgaged the entire 75% of assets by setting up this so-called SPV and then mortgaging the entire future of the country, what do territorial authorities really have to do? That's what I'm telling you, that Chief, forget about that permutation, 10% will go here, 5% will go here, 20% will go here. Of what value? Right now, the 500 million they are likely to raise, they are going to pay almost $40 million to some expensive British consultant to raise that money for them. For what? For what purpose? And then the other 500 million will come, and then in perpetuity, you are going to mortgage 75% of gold assets.
Franklin,
I mean, who does that? And then me person make say, no more can say, yeah, chiefs, any yeah, if you follow, or mubenya bibino.
Okay. But Franklin, on perpetuity, from the release, myth release, I'll say Agyapa Royalties will receive 75.6% of royalties from a selected portfolio of underlying gold mines, 12 producing mines, and 4 development assets under the current mining leases. In addition to the initial capital raised, MIF is expected to continue to receive dividends from Agyapa and will continue to receive royalty revenue from other operating mines in Ghana that are not related to Agyapa Royalties. Agyapa Royalties will continue to benefit the Ghanaian people, regardless of which political party is in power. Where would you say?
Chief, stop right there. Stop right there. You see how the whole thing has been put together. Cudjoe say, oh, we are dealing with just 12 mining sites and 4 development sites. It's after Friday, it's 48. If you look at the contract. But let's leave that. Omo can be so say, oh, we'll be benefiting from royalties and dividends from other mining sites. That's what I was telling you not long ago. Say, deal no, it's not just the 48 mining leases, mining license now. The contract looks at right now. Just say, unya any other assets, bioma, and so come for way honomo. Whether they are paying you better or not, they will have the first right of refusal, and you have to wait for 90 days for them to reply you. This deal was made in hell for peace, good people who love their country. So I'm telling you, say, Nyomo can say, oh, and yenya bibi wahanomo the back Japan. That deal should tell you that it is even unconscionable. Why should one company have all the assets of the country, and at the same time, they be what's it called? Be benefiting from new assets I ever finding. I mean, who does a deal like that? And the point I make Cudjoe understand, that dividend they are talking about, Usha economic data, they are publishing, we are releasing the paper right now as we speak. Usha the data from all mining stock exchanges everywhere in the world now. Those that are comparable to what we are doing, the dividends are sometimes less than 1% per annum. Have they told you the dividend rate? Have they put it in that paper? You can see it because they know that the 1 billion they are going to get, the highest they can get is 1% every year. Now only 10 million every year. Now say 1 billion. Now only 10 million every year. Sanka is better to be receiving $120 million under the current situation, rather than go and give these good assets to somebody, collect just 500 million or at most $1 billion, and then be getting $10 million every year. It is that 10 million they'll be sharing with everybody, 20% here, 10% here, 14% here. That's what I'm saying, that let's not get confused at all.
Okay, in fact, but Franklin, quick one. Oma Mayatia said 51% of the shares will be owned by Ghana buying only 51% of the shares. Is this not good enough?
Chief Jerry, again, this is the ruse. Who shut the contractor? The company, when they realize that the bonds are oversubscribed, the shares are oversubscribed, they have recourse to sell more than 51%. You think the Attorney General is foolish to be saying that the deal is unconscionable? So this whole talk about 51% will come to Ghana, yes, from the beginning. But your cost of Jones say That's in Kofor top 49 now almost say, hey, I do the top out. Automatically, we lose our right to even the 51% because the board arrangement is such that they can tell you that, look, near corner, Osha value no ya better into yen fa a big count. So the deal would have shortchanged us immediately based on the value of the asset. I beg you, let's all take our time to read it. And yeah, complex cry. Anybody who claims that this deal is so complex, put together by some smart lawyers, is just fooling himself or herself. It's right in there. Everything you said right now, I've just given you counters. They claim that 12 mining site plus 4 development site, we plan 48. But you even immediately added that, and then when they also discover other assets. And I've told you that the story behind that clause is that when they discover other assets, they have the first right of refusal. 90 days. I'll summarize in 3. Yami person mechanic say, contract here, we don't even know them. We don't know the directors. And Boyan were any way, Usha Sky Benyano, Skanka say Skanka say debia about almost 120 million. Say Anya Bibia, say Antonia Gold, and man Crawford where. Near Benyana say we'll be getting about $130 million a year. Say a Tom man Crawford where dividend Benya every year 10 million. 10 million, that's just 1% of the 1 billion. Well, Inti obi catcher say we dey Agyapa Maya, Agyapa nka adena adi we start here November 2019. Yantie bibia wo ho. We didn't even see where this deal was hiding. Anya a minority for na a rebel here or parliament anka. Yantie hwi wo ho.
Okay.
Na anya Anton
Franklin, wadaroma. Oma maya ti say CCA gold price on the world market ekosoro. This is the best time to bring up this Agyapa deal because I don't know.
You see, again, this is one of those lies. The fact of the matter is, I am passing gold prices are going high. I go high, no. Yanya $120 million a year. Yabenya ebeko high cry. Yabenya maybe $150 million a year. Now, person will turn. Shanka sell Brian more than $150 million a year. Now, by mommy $10 million a year. Ubaji $1 billion. Now, mommy $10 million a year forever. Agyapa. And I now make a choice. If you look at the report, we've come through the entire world and we found out that gold experts or Moka say yes. Price no, ebeko high, ebeko $2,400. Agyapa pa osha. So we are people invest in gold. The banking crisis also and Kofoba invest in gold. Corona buy. Why is gold doing well than other stocks? Because it's a safer security. Oh, and nothing na esa ohunya dream be say, oh, and the gold price be high there. Make akoye deal there. And they say the for so ebe dosun chen ye me nya sosia no ebreye. Na wakoya kanana ukoji 500 million. About $40 million among Crofobis, among 500 million miles. See, I did the coya so ye who I feel back at me say, 10%, 20% of what value? Those are the questions we need to ask. Media Yami and Hinikran say, I want person Muka say, Yenti economics, see, and I say, Yenti deal nasi. I deal Papanka, Adena, publishing one paper, one policy paper behind this deal. They've not published it. Chief Jerry, this deal was thought about in 2019, November. They started negotiation with the Attorney General in January 2019. Usha letters na abebi no. Ube say Attorney General no kraso no struggle. Wabisa way ewahi. Na almost say okay de beba. Omo de beba no makotro bibi kuntan. No mo di aba. Na say debi o edi we de enye o. Na okọ na osaba. Omo use one day. Well, eventually the Attorney General felt so this tired and I'll say, okay, and yeah, but the money, but me mamu approval no. Niama bi wo ho mo esa mo ye. Underwriters as we speak right now, insurance. We don't even know who the insurance people are. Media me person meka obi a see friend is saying nepotism and as a nipana the senior ministers bano. And no crapo there is the least of our worries. But no crapo so me hint to the extent say they use the best process in the world to go for the Ghanaian that they wanted And all of a sudden, the chief financial officer of Danko State Cement, who they employ to go and look for shortlist people from Ghanaians around the world, did it so well that he published all the processes and settled on Osafo Mafo's son. I don't have a problem with Osafo Mafo's son. I think he's a smart guy. But I think he's lending himself into a system
Franklin,
that he should be
brofo.
Yeah, me can say, omo person, other for omo catch say, oh, yen hwe yen bo ma baso na, omo abomodin pa na, omo hwe no, omo man nipa obe hwe nyema we so, nipa no wa bin pa. And I man he can say, yen fire ho, nipa na bin some bin here. We don't care. In fact, we think it's even better to look for a Ghanaian. But yeah, bisa say you're competitive. You publish BB. BB say you show B. Okay. Maybe you cry chief will be our Australia or you are being chen nipa na yanyano. Yahu BB ne can also see deal way abrofo ya omadia omoya amodia the abrofo ya kwakope scafre omo. They do their things properly. Look, deal way yen tie BB ehu ya maybe kaka say yen policy paper bia show say this is the reason dead behind the thing. There's no published paper. There's no PR mechanism to show how they are going. That's how they are struggling to defend it. In any New York Stock Exchange, Obroni Belisti, BB was stock exchanger. They do all this work. They do PR. They invest in PR. Coca-Cola. Oh, yeah, the papa. So on the day they will launch it at the New York Stock Exchange, oh, everybody knows about the value. Everybody knows about it. Intinaya can say maybe they started this thing nicodemously before they brought it to Parliament, because they cannot. Stock exchanges they take at least 12 months to be able to do all of this and guys before they will list. Would you catch 3-4 months ago? What's it called? You are telling us in August, in December, you say you want to list by December 31st. You want to list. You want to use 4 months to list this so-called complex arrangement where there's been no paper published, no PR plan published. In fact, there's no underwriters. I mean, who does that?
Okay.
I'll be ashamed if the president signs this deal. Anyway, it's been a deal anyway. It's a done deal because the approval was done somewhere. Cabinet approved it in March 2020. It's shameful, Chief. It's really shameful. I mean, look, some of the guys talking are my good friends, and I've told them that they should back off this deal because it's so. Look, what they are doing is to disgrace the government entirely. I don't know if they realize that.
Okay.
But to make it look as if say, don't believe any of the story. Anything you read from that paper, we have counter what's it called?
Okay.
And I'm telling you that this deal is the deal made in hell.
Okay.
Ghanaians should reject
Franklin, fortunately, me were Ora Sampine, studio. Imagine a quick reaction of him. We are Masamba Honafi, my major coin. Ora Sampine, the Ashanti Regional Secretary of the NPP. Over Akaba. I want to why come on so?
Oh, Yamina.
What was that? Was looking command me, Ora Franklin Cudjoe, after train. So, let's just say, I quite say, Agyapa Royalties, a bon cry, Nadia, a bad boy, my Ghana.
Chief, am I in Chiawa Shayinara? A been sweet here or Asampa, Timobiachi, and Yamina didn't so at in the Bibia and Yanisa. Minia, Ghana, higher war. A Kamiako, yes, say. Nipakuo binum ayo imagine say omantu anamo biara especially MPP abanwe etu anamo biara ese ye hwe ekohunu se benya bibi bone ewo ho wote nchen me ye me nkwan mesimi wo kobi emane ene nantwenam nam de ye wunni me jade hobi wo se me di prakontwere ene akokɔ na ye me ba be kire omu se when I'm the Yemen Quinoa, what's in Yanokre? Minerals Income Investment Fund.
Yes.
Any funder, a manager Ghana, mineral resources. Woman Eddie, woman no disem, abetuja. Meboa. And some Franklin Mokanyana, Woma Beyano. Woma catch them the assembno etie. Nukra, a woman. What's one only dear or Canada obwa? When you say, we said the decision, said Tamano royalty, a Japan friend as royalty.
Yes.
One link to a radio station. and almost same crofona radio ni omu di antino we say you omu di no omu be wia Ghana sika any Ghana niema meanwhile dwumadi omu di no aban entam sika enkotu obika wodie wo hwa documentation ene wo mo narrative na kire me ba bia aban atabri Ghana sika e dia kosi awowa when na mortgage Ghana sika mama one example
me too
tama President Kufuor eko China akope sika ne dia beye buidam no ye leverage ye koko similar comments ene Kufuor kan similar comments womu kaye no eventually no asembe na ne wom na wo madwene na no mususu no na entisa Ghana nya ho faso a na ye de boa yen energy sector no a ye electricity amaye yesi ye resources ade no emrada ho Ghana parliament eno wati kru no ya ye emra actor e moderate sa fund no ye yinkrofo a wo mo na behwe so na woni Frank Meka what kind of position of government on membership of the board o ti nya nokre enya nokre sen enya ban na wo majority shares wo mo kwa annual general meeting no a wo so ambeye no emno take decisions on board members meboa take decision on how the company is run take decisions on how the fund is managed inti sa wo nkrofo aban ye oman e de mrata akire asset up this company na e de en me ye fish because they started by looking at individuals. Infantino, they go fishing.
Okay, but Utie Franklin, as someone can say, say about the 40 million, and they back pay 10 million dividend, and to him, no,
Asemba near ka near ye be free moi and yet. One casa chief, what kind, which no distribution of income?
Yes.
Which any percentages are a beba? What's it young Kessica potting no? Do you know how much we can earn every year? Even with the current situation, Omuka say a few years, the last year $150 million. No, last 2 years was more than that. So it fluctuates. And can you bet me this car? Asha no. Into your model scenario, young who is uncertainties were all. Young can we say in our move. Any of the account. Nipa no eko market no oko stock exchange no so oko petika ewo ho de aban aka ne se sika bia mo benya ne mrese no monka mom say emfa me yede o si this kind of no kura yanka investment fund mineral investment fund the sika no ye den wo Ghana
but enyango say attorney general kura no ase sa deal
attorney general kura no ase sa deal mini we bia aka kosi
won faso papa
the letter the final letter no den aka den the proposal the bar finally no aka den
say na asa watwe baby aban ni gina no gina nti na de nyamba sam we no
the final letter no any other subsequent letters no when you access One more casa, I'm doing the first letter. I'm saying lead. I'm saying BB, but 14 team be more eka one. Apart from that, other discussions on my year, and no more options on my share, and no opinions on my because sabi about emremwa. Nyansa ni ni papa kufo etu. The be a me as lawyer A no me hunu no. E be a lawyer B C Z. One be hunu differently. One me na kaboma. It may change the narrative from point A into new point Z no. Na narrative no. Na assessment. Into adena the final discussions and that narrative no and no the young person can want them. Into what we stand one more can we okay we studio her electoral commission can say obituary similar argument omuko bokro no omuko wiesika eventually there was nothing like that. Into adena actually any pe motive say there be an every single deal the bottom line is say kronungo. When you have no evidence to show. Stock exchange, we call now collectia, international operations no cost every day. So gold prices say, na stocks no cost say, and na tiba from say. One Wall Stock exchange, Wall Street na for London stock market na for ni publicized. We have the benefit of even TV. CNN ne nasefo BBC nom awo mo publicize sa enema we say nyina nti se bia Ghana ye wo investment se bia $1 billion na ho ha wo ye individual na person track here you can easily track it nti we should not start by saying say investment no na me feel say nka ye bedi kan bi say ho say dwumadie no a ye see Agyapa Royalties eni ema o man no and minerals income investment fund no sa dwumadie no is it the benefit of Ghana na say enye
okay
but if you are unable to establish that na mo wuji tu say wo mo ade so mo ye na ye let's go to the bottom let's look at enema efata ni yanka but to go on tangentials na yakofa we na de we abebom na kan we say the frankly yakofa we na kan bom na ye mpotompoto wo koye mpotompoto aduane no enye de bi
okay me that say Franklin umreninti ma make quick reaction from your side as per the me offer ora sampine they are two justice here quickly Franklin
yo me that say me but ora sampine what kind of contract no
what's my kind of contract my kind mahumi document be
I submit to you that you haven't read it.
Now, a box move. They are not interrogating me. What's them?
No, I'm just telling you that you haven't read a word of it because it's just obita outside commentary. You see, the point we are making is not to say that somebody has stolen money. We are not saying it's Obiye.
We are not saying that. What we were saying, everybody listened.
No, of other
the substance of it one is said, be born in womb.
But I said this deal was made in hell.
Of course, in America, I'm saying them today in the womb.
Franklin, my intel.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Sampai has not said a word to show whether the thing is valuable or not.
That's your opinion.
And baby said, and a deal, yeah. He doesn't even know the market capitalization of the deal. It is 1 billion. And we are saying, say, 1 billion now also at current gold prices, you are already getting close to $130 million a year. They be on $130 million. Now, dividend now I can't want some. If you study the economics and the valuation of stocks all over the world, gold stocks all over the world, the dividends you are likely to get is not a maximum of 1%. It let nobody make a mistake and assume say dividend na some big money be never because wakoji 1 billion and now beji 1 billion at 2 no more the dividend you are going to get will be less than 1% or at maximum 1%. The capitalization of this deal is 1 billion. The capitalization of the assets we are looking at current prices is $3.75 billion. So why are you shortchanging Ghana by depressing the value of these assets to get 1 billion and get $10 million every year? If it were your property, would you do that? It is not their property, and they are treating the property as if there's no value. We are talking economics and science and data. I'm sorry, bring data to the conversation. We are not interested in suggesting, say, all we are saying is, say, gold prices right now is hinting almost $2,000, $2,200, about almost $2,400. Mr. Sampine, do you know the number of ounces of gold that this whole Agyapa deal is supposed to do? Because you haven't read it, you don't know. It's 5.5 million ounces. And an ounce of gold, today's price is what? Almost $2,000. One can say your calculation and you know how much you are going to get?
Okay.
So if you take all the development cost and all of that, we are saying, the best the government should do is to extend these negotiations and let everything to be open, extend it maybe by up to April 2021. And that the 4-month period being used in order to do this is too short for something like
okay,
this.
but Franklin, me percentage breakdown be quickly. The monies allocated to the MDF are disbursed as follows. But follow me, Kakra. 50% to the Office of the Administrator of School Lands, 20% to the Mining Community Development Scheme, 4% to supplement the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, 13% to supplement the Minerals Commission. And then there's another 8%, and then there's another 5%. So per this breakdown, I'm quite emphasizing for my and also after winning now.
Some of them American, and I think on the surface of it, yes, if you are getting $1 million and you share it according to that formula, me as I assume Juma work university, learn economy, so I know these values you are talking.
Hello. Cudjoe. Well, I'm saying, Ura Franklin Cudjoe na homa no. I have to kakra. Yensakani bima. Finally, on percentage breakdown. Mesanso. Okay. Ura Cudjoe, uteminka.
Mitio nkapa.
Yes. But oyentio. Wala inu breaki kakra.
Those percentages are fine. The issue is that percentage of what value? Can say?
But you don't expect say 5%, you know, so 5% you know be $1 million, 20% maybe $200 million, and I'll be these are just percentages.
Chief, what we are saying is that let's move from the top, the general to the specific. The general is that say Anton Gold Yikra Maubia, to see an about $130 million. Into Anumuna 20% to this unit, Office of Administrators, 2 lands, 10% here, 2% here, 1% here. But Niamu Koyeno, Yabenya less than that money in perpetuity. In fact, at most you get every year will be 10 million. But they'll get 1 billion up front. Until they can do the 1 billion or 500 million they want in a short while, they can do the 20% of all of those for now. But in perpetuity, after 1 year, after you've received this money, because you've mortgaged the thing forever, what it means, they say, instead of getting $130 million every year, no, ubenya 10 million, that's the dividend. So this permutation is based on the dividend after all the niyama we nyina ko check. That's the way we should do the analysis. It's not the fact that 50% will go, 50% of what? 50% of 1 million is nothing. 50% of 10 billion is a lot of money. And so we are saying that the value of the gold we are looking at right now, and people have done this permutation. This is not the first time we started digging gold. I mean, if you ask a miner in the Ashanti region who has not even been to school, he can calculate for you the value of gold right now and tell you that, look, it will depress our value. Do you know that Osha gold exports are? Do you know 2018, 2017, when we said we had banned Galamsey, do you know the amount of gold that was shipped out of this country was more? Who were those accounting for it? It was the Galamseyers, right? So it tells you that they know the value of gold. So to assume, say, you have done something marvelous, we are not even interested in whether Obiak or Yebokrono. We have not even said anybody has stolen anything. What we are saying is that whoever put this deal together, no, what just say, because Nyamano Yeni Dianintino. I call it a Timodin Nibeye, Bruno Krabakan. You see, so this is a conversation we are having. The conversation is about the value of the figures. We are not interested in whether you are a 10% back or 50% of what value.
Okay.
You see, 16 CSOs cannot be wrong.
Okay.
These CSOs have been dealing with mineral issues for a very long time.
Okay. Franklin, my now I say na yemfensia yenimse unibresa. For a time when you're at the
the release is in your inbox right now, the full release.
Okay. Meko na mako kan release no sesia, but what for my samra ho na fi me Franklin mu release no na me kan chere tie for na hwefo.
Franklin num enimnya sanche wiase ni panyina. The sampanti ana o kan asema. Unim dia o kan. Okay? Document no yenya opportunity akan bi no ya kan bi statement a mo kan ye no ya hu bi de MRIF for no so e de aba no ya hu no bi okay we say aban no kwaji $1 billion up front documentation how many years and no am so on the be yes adwuma we must start say 15 years me boa and just statement and no na man no other than say they turn argument to perpetuity. right? Again, I'm speaking about matters of uncertainty. The been a gold price a cost through. Gold price a cost through this year because of COVID. If you say minerals in our cano, oil in a symphony affecting gold. And every time, Tama, Iraqi war no buy any sign of who says that time in gold prices a cost through. By stabilizer, na and also abba from kakra. And it's a walk and net values are. The possibilities are some basic a chinano, ma a change values, no. And also a ho. And it's a can't wait to wa, nature will be around the Nititiasuka winning tree, and they can't some. Yansano or Munina with you. And Yansano or they can't some. It is absolutely a material argument now. A buying a transit. As some no call parliament, Sabi and yet obi them more. Makachwa say, "Adia motivating or mumpo momodi statement ne buyer, started cancel no. The point is say, one mufi send crofo. Na eno ani nya wo come same ni na no. Ono akra hakra no aka, okobo safuma for badi wo. Afi do say onukra de ehia no. O time to rubbish the process na wo mo de selecting no mebo a. No opese hwan na ne adne ye. Hwan na no opese adne ye. Chief Jerry, we a good journalist who hosts two programs. Adom TV and multimedia can decide to say ye penny pafu for crowd aba. Some other company ebe timi be foul ebe obobe to aka 5 times what you earning here. Does that make say nipa no ye ne buy no sebi wa bon wana onim ana wo ye ma wo sorry fi wakonya we say so no wa bon wana onim.
Of our own issues, for instance, of say you can say even insurance of Agyapa Royalties, insurance company ebo ma chi dom kra no nim there may be a honor as
a the beer. How many times no can say you publish papers beer. You say Ghana the bank and are buying a yes transactions now or publishing papers no. You quite married publication be. And now omukoye baku omufi take buy no publication. Even the car President Kufuor ekwaji ya the
car
power from publication be. No, the car ekwaji ye publication. Yane China for Sino Hydro publication. Is it a standardized issue? Say be side na. Na so person who insurance na ehine ekobisa no. Radio sun ebisa. And TV sun ebisa. You have a source. Fund no ho. One more management body, one more board. So you go there and seek for answers. And achieve me boy.
Me too.
Se me baha na me pese me hu mo production crew. Na me pe producer. Se ni dia me good TV no so na me pe producer. Ehin na me bisa. Enye multimedia. Do I go stand somewhere? Now me the telephone besides say who is the producer of Nnawotwe Yi? So go to the source. We call no because one more can't. But I don't also believe say an entity like Agyapa, one more mother company no, a work baby for some base one more insurance. So nipa one dealing with huge capital to say. Now because now when about that business, when and about that business, I'm dealing with billions of dollars. Now me say me insure my company no, and now this project now me no, I wouldn't insure. And now we pay insurance to say, fee say obi insurance company na na. Now say your insurance company, say company no, say a ban krempo sa no, onye qualify say obey sa de no na. These are the matters. In the say they going fishing. They definitely want to find something wrong with the deal and talk about it. But no more, Ghana for adwene, ayo mo tantanta. Ni have heard the benefits of the Benyano. What can have rightly? We have all kinds of no. Or say Benya $10 million, a Benya $10 million, $10 million times the number of months now and years no can plus the $1 billion no. So which are you saying? And they will not calculate it. Yeah. And you don't let us bamboozle people say simply no nearby one more could you no more no at the end of the year be $10 million and you Johnny said your tea and every year benya $150 million. Meanwhile, no, you forget to tell the world to say $1 billion be ever upfront for development. The intention back home, and he said, you hear Sikapudio, Edia ye, Ghana ye, meboa. Say, when you $150, a Juma would be yen in 1 billion, be say human no more. Wouldn't say, if you want to control the dual carriageway from maybe Accra to Kumasi, complete carriageway. Na say, we person ye capos, and so dear. Na person ye a flower, dear. Na so be $150 million. No say, no, na ye wala. I'm sure I will be a quarter of these projects. But if you have that money up front, definitely no, we kwakoche sikano, we bet 2 and more akwanim, ema bibia akoso amount. Intentions no, meaning from the right up and everything no. It's not so just to say a buying a percent omagana for a boka, and a year idea a bit Ghana for. But well, as normal of them, and some people who think like that, you know, there be no assembly bar, young fat the engine, and I am co-creative BBC BB, then fan cancer. Did you carry that's one of angle two.
Okay, but fortunately, I'm going to Ura Franklin Cudjoe Museum so. Ura Cudjoe Patrol oh. Fantastic. And then yeah. Okay, but when is some point? Press release in Mesaka. I have it here. Me no better to Munkomo. Mesaka wa.
Yo, Mati. Near me person me can chair my chief for T and say any me papa. We're also doing our work and they were relying on it. Now I can't be a say I then a kappa or ya Mary and who be beer. Now Abba, not also there una papa, una the boss, una the man. Now go back there the same thing now. Mr. Sampine, Mpacho, and Toasum. I didn't know I was sick. I won't find butchers, Kelesa. But you see, that's the tragedy of the Brunisi, tragedy of the commons. What belongs to you, you tend to take care of. And I said, near Odiano, I am Mansandiano. Obia out to me, we are just saying that the state or the government has shortchanged the republic in this deal. They should go back to the drawing table and ensure, say, Sesiano. Just 25% of those assets, the same 1 billion that they want. They can get it. Because if they use the public listing approach, it's going to be more making, what's it called? The values will even be depressed. Into your palm choppy. The kind of 500 million and more pesos, and yes, she almost $40 million, a could 500 million. And yes, she almost catch and confront say, Yana can so say you purchase 25% of the assets. Now 75% per year and twice.
Okay, but Franklin, this way I will myth for home. Let me just quote it out to you. I say, as the majority shareholder, they will also benefit from the potential capital gains in the shares into perpetuity. Franklin, that's a young release in this one.
Matthias, if you take the dividend, that's why they are trying to balance it. We share the dividend as conversation now. The dividends are low. In fact, a comparable listing market capitalization about $600 million of similar companies. The interesting bit about that also is that capital gains for the bosses that they are looking for is not even realistic. It's not efficient. In any case, we are not even going to get a maximum amount anyway, and it's not properly in normal practice. That's why we are telling them that they should box all of these things together and give us a value. Me land economy, as I seen when Juma was investing, KUST, we called the net present value of financial mathematics. We did something called the net present value calculations. It is done. Everybody knows that. Into all assets, the value of the asset today, no. You say, oh, Tom, say, assets are almost say, oh, Kitamu, say 25 years and not 30 years. Mr. Sampan, it's not 50. The 15 years they are talking about is the period they believe they can recoup a lot of money. But the deal is in perpetuity. But that's why the Attorney General can say, oh, and the Munkramunya 30 years pay and I share. Because perpetuity they are in Yakra. But the deal as it stands is in perpetuity, by the way. Now, Ntina make us say, land economy, no. But yet me value land. we are able to tell the estimate value of me say valuation. I didn't pursue it per se, but I can tell you, Chief, if I come to your house right now, the basic valuation I did in land economy, I can tell you the value of your house. I can tell you the value of lands in most parts of this country.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because we trade, we do that. And everybody who has to do asset valuation learn basic financial mathematics. So they should just tell us how much you are going to the capital valuation of the assets. They've not told you.
No.
They're only telling you.
Franklin, of some time. Is it that difficult? Say the capital valuation. Senior Franklin or suggesting. Acquire the as I'm Ghana for
there be obi abisana. Fear more explanation on the buy. Once you media or moody. Listen, no crano or munye. Into then a whole documentations you publicize. Apart from that, no, a parliament a transfer issue. Say, Sikasem be a nurse and food for be one. And a medical can ha, wo baby akobisa. So I call baby no because say, oh my so far one my that argument, you know, Obia man country say, me call point A and now point Z. Say me per this information a young farmer. Obian kind. Into don't speculate. So go to the source. Na kobisa, the finance ministry na beko akobisa. Saving parliament na beko akobisa. The fund no ho na beko akobisa. It tell my say apart from the management of the fund, we also have board na for no. One more ebetime yi nsema no amano. It is also nipa kwekwe no one put two documentation together no. We bisa no mo catch us say, "Yanka bibia nkyerɛ." The miss a pine, major to say, one year. But so one call her, Emco beside, not so speculate. Now putting it there. Right? Maybe a communication. Minimum as someone who can't tune from memoir a big generator amount.
Okay, so then maybe Franklin, you've not sought for information. More contrary information.
What told me?
Me too. Hello, Franklin. Hello, Franklin. Okay. Well, into offer now no
yeah. Into one call parliament no information a fatani there so they put it there because a danger ma one would call discussion or parliament and say no more pass it.
Okay, I'm say Franklin I'm back. My main say Mr. Bitimi Akana. Franklin, what think?
I did wear a pam store. Still on the stock exchange is a public activity. You don't wait for anybody to come and ask you for documents because the tax savings. It was found out that most of
I'm saying Franklin network, no. But what in your can say we.
Pampam store.
Okay, yes. Will be maybe some information and some.
Obinka say a buja.
Say Bonibian Tachra, a information, no, what example will be to me.
A buying.
Then I make Panama Papers here by.
Yes.
Panama Papers here by. One of the challenges states had was that companies will list, then they will share small information. They will not share the rest of information. So stockholders lost a lot of value. They lost money. Okay, one of the reasons that the financial crisis occurred was because bankers were keeping value and all away from shareholders. See, this is a public listed activity. It is not a private enterprise. You publish this. In fact, there's not a single publication since this thing started on the finance ministry's website. You don't. So every shareholder who wants to buy shares must now come to the finance ministry and ask, who say insurance being you respond to each and every one of them. No, you don't do that for a public listed company. Nobody does that.
Okay, Chief, over.
Deal ya can. Da ben na idim. And I'm say until said deal no nyina be cool no. Won't mean ko tro honsem. Even in the selection of Agyapa. Right? Beginning now we can nyina na we be expected say be mad narrative a publicize no. Why didn't nke de be ho? Okay, but offer. Na me ba we are entities a war deal no nyina ya bo mu din no. They are known entities. And if even you want information, and then there are more science here, Technology you can easily sit behind your console and Google and find out about Japan or more Jersey, you can get every single detail. So you're a credible entity, right? It is a bania becanisanoa. At least a mystery kakra because won't make it that effort. Into your narrative, now two beshemua. And then I'm saying I also did communication. The moment I will be two beshemu without making an effort, no motivation in India. Again, now seek so binya because me and I make answer na me ya de no a meko kwaku ama ho akosia ho se me kona we se nyina animu a no ma hu se ananso pom wagin bia meko akosia ama kwaku bibi se munye ne se miahwe se ye kasa ye nye ne wa asem a yesom agina so because we hear wo mukra no response from the buyer na ye fund for the response from the buyer no they are telling us about information from the parliament and no dey public document woman ne wo both MPP and DC parliamentarians take it part no call hands at numa ubenya sa ne mani na wo kokobisa the clerk of parliament definitely no benya documents we say should it be a matter
Mr. Franklin this specific question Franklin ebinum de sa deal toto the him bauxite dealer during the former government nanka aban no person womo no edishe Ura Ibrahim Mahama and sir you bet me that Franklin Cudjoe.
In many respects, yes. Why not? Because Osha, basically we talk about the openness of the transaction. Yeah. That's all everybody is asking for. The issue really is that all these challenges that the ministry is having and the MIF is having, they could have avoided it if they had had an open conversation about almost everything, not giving it to us in thoughts. Yanya fango kromanomu. Okay, pa say we had to go to Norway. We did public road shows, and no po yakasai 1.5 billion Ghana cedis is not accountable for. Even though we've come this far, when we did oil, publish what you pay, transparency, PRMA, Public Petroleum Revenue Management Act. I want no more down thinking say yewe, and no po no 1.5 billion yakasai. So it is not to suggest that people would definitely are going to steal or anything. It is not for any reason why, it is not for nothing that we have all these conversations about openness in the first place. The fact of the matter is public money. You see, the difference we must establish clearly. If it's a private entity, then that's the problem. So when Mr. Ibrahim Mahama was being taught to, even though some of us believe he's very qualified because he's been doing mining for a very long time, it was clear that the process was not proper. And we all said that it was not open, right? And we disagreed with him, even though some of us believed he was qualified and had the money to do it. In fact, Ibrahim has the most important data on bauxite mining in this country. No, not even the government has that data. But he's been doing this for several years. But even there, we quarreled with the process, you see. So we cannot just sit down and say, and because this is happening, we should just sit down and say that they have the answer. They know, so we should allow them to do whatever they want. It's not fair. But it has.
Okay. Franklin, so time now so. Okay, but that's it. Fantastic. I mean, great having you on the show, Franklin. But now, you better not film press release, you know. That you come and come. So as and when it happens, you know, you friend, you know what to home and come. Hopefully on Monday, I will just send them. That's it, Franklin.
No problem. That's
it. We talk about openness. Agyapa Parliament, not committee view anymore, not office of the Speaker, the chamber for open discussions. Opacity being what we say. A DNA a suma womb. Document in Yina Koda Parliament. Questions and some bisa, answers some information, more unnecessary information they share with Parliament. Yet 275 MPs or more representing Yina. Inti asemna Koda or Manimuno, Ubiara and Wupi. Inti a dear chese ubi the assembly SC. Dinamka say, if you start going fishing, asemno, who can have a and so quanima. Na fe okọ ha kofa we ha na kofa na so wunyu ne kente no ansa na watime nyantoma no that and yes I
but on this issue of kwaya edin asase royalties no cross sign Emma fe mu ho afiaba be na Agyapa Royalties because nipa bi ehye I don't know but what is her argument you know
mati argument ni bi what a medical can say in initial stages no kra no omi madam fulari dogwe bi ni din kobo e bibia o start church on na bi on Facebook wo hwe any some publication be papers bi said the Asase Royalties they start here any obi radio station na wo mo link no a me no as obi a I'm into governance and all that.
Yes.
And now to say my sustainable development and planning in Asifo no. Na me who say a better say we be the couple and some no. We be TB a free be.
Yes.
Did the best and say Bianca Besisa edino na wo mo madwunu mu be ye wo kese no because e wonim say obi she atare no ye broni bi na wuni no na obobo no she messages na atwe din na say wuni no pe e be confuse bi a sa player no na e bobo no. If you say odinidin no any ne color no eben nti the moment I dey adwini bi tie chire e start because right after na eba nyina no enkrofo bi ebusua bi pese omu wia Ghana sika omu fa Ghana japade nyina that is how it started ase ka no kremo bi ehunu sana sam na hyase eyem yasem nua Taylor bi eniha on the no parliament o kobe so ba ne nkoka ensem no say the city ni sana asem ni hyase ankrofo bi om de om abusua mpeso be fa Ghana asem simply because radio bi din eben Asase Royalties one more change there been change of company names all over the world I'm multimis into wo pa say ebia directors na sefo and na wo feel say wunnimu a you ask for those things. Then you can go further. Near Bisa, woman you fit to be directors now. Woman you compromise in any way now. Woman you compromise in any way now. They are important in so they said. This entity I can and yes sebi both the muka entity bio or mine one kasa and achichiri. Adiana ye no and yet say me fa say na do the 8 years we are na company no ene de omukano na echo
okay
political party bi obeba aban bi obeba beto aso bia no opposessi ounsa company no
okay
for Oman Ghana
for 18 minutes after 9 yeguso ewo Nnawotwe Yi o hwe en Adom TV sanso tie en Kasempa 94.7 FM ma menkan mo Facebook comment ne kakra na fe yentwa ye ho Emra Anthony Amuzu also share live I say MPP and Nanado 419 ono ne dia ode eba ye eno no Baba Nicholas Atanga o message comment ne de me nyi bi se betimi akan e wo dwumade no so Amisco Spelele Kaswa I say on record the MPP government has performed better and the development projects under Nana Bahumia's government are visible to Ghanaians. We promise we deliver. This clearly shows more for Nana to do more. It's non-negotiable. By the way, what accounted for the postponement of NDC's manifesto launch? Still copying MPP's own and also so. Yeah, for the brain, Facebook, Adom TV, Facebook, and Asempa 94.7 FM, Facebook, and King Kamba. Now, Chisuni and Komono, Kakao Honma, Yade Ebetos, nothing. Your phone lines and also the amount. Now, also so the drink say, Eddie Abamidin, at the Chief J Force in Yachia Homra. Okay, Yama Kwababy, O share live Adom TV, now Chief Medina Gusa, Yade Ebra, Mene, the regional secretary of the NPP Ashanti region, Ura Sampine. Now, and can say, Honorable Oklete Labi, Member of Parliament for Lower Manya Kobo. Sen ko beka ye ho dwumade so enso BBC no kwanti wantimi amba but yene Ura Franklin Cudjoe atwetwe nkomo bebre ewo Zoom no eso answer na mesa call me wafa Sampine ho no ma menkenka messages no kakra na fe me call ne ho mankind elembele or say a vote against Anado is a vote against Nzima and Ghana development. Ono no dia or de abano no Lee Tekmo I say, so this so-called Imani think tank group turned drunk tank. It's a mercenary organization. They are really hungry, but the MPP government is on the right track. And Lee, Tekpo, and so Eddie Abre, Facebook, Fadi and Bra, Ebejimre, na Yakinkai Eddie Ama. But answer no, meeting activating my phone line 0302 211 70124. Nafi, mene me offer atuan komotrete no eso. Offer, akwa baby, it's from no akwa say, sika ensa beka no. Say, you're spending on consumables. And now, so your financial capital investment, and also, I did that Ghana for so power.
Yes, consumables are necessary, but capital assets and so developments and so no, and now projects and so no.
Okay.
What first $150 million, for instance, medical care. So also we have 4 major roles. Now we're located 25 million, and could do baby, but with an upfront of about $1 billion. A Juma would be a besumbo. That's my personal view.
I see.
Ska we say no. You find capital investment, right? Now because we be now buying a day no more remuning entity, a day building the human capital of the youth. One more work SSSR. You show on school free. You more D. One more work DHS. One better so here say more one. Hot meal na tufo and yet be fair because who physically say na ekoso chief uti say into no dey na say nyina say I'm a who's where you kind but developing the capital of the human capital no critical there be a cite Malaysia as an example what many na share you so okay one first 10 years of farm development one edi ko share say yem training yem crop for technical education into bioko schools I'm running be free and then you can major industrial nations are
yes
Malaysia can yes a can yes a whole society can no university here no na capital investment na consumable but at the end of it no ama benefit immense benefit and na so ama wo enya lot of capital investment na fiscal projects or my but in our case yes aban it's an explanation of the mamity minua kanofrata minister no echre no niema kese a wose ye no sikasem na ema yantimi nyo enti se enya sika boom $1 billion se yes ka tito a enye sika ye kotu ya hunsi hu ne nasefo eno sukra waje awie no afibia no ewo investment na waye no with Japan no ewo sika besanji afri ho na ano so abe complement the wo de ebaye no enti yes the argument around it no should continue say should we invest it in fiscal capital or infrastructure and also say consumables no but me personally there I would say about 90% to go into physical now about 10% in core consumable
okay
especially
but how about Ghana for the fact say Agyapa Royalties ya register no e JC no Channel Islands no e be ye din say ye ni betumi adi akire ye hunu say na adwuma no e ko say won man upon car ya bo nyina no ye ni betumi adi akire over
fund no wo management any board won be ye AGM annual general meeting
sani anyumaku aye nim
nyina omo ye no say company well minimum how multimedia more structure no but I believe some more investment
yes
at the end of every year no one a factors or more transfer no they will ask questions sabi o one ye do omo board no so some board term any takwa nso miaminu
yes honorable George Mekuduka yes
ye wo bank you almost say na ABSA bank
is it Barclays
yeah Sad bank no womo
Barclays mama say na absa
womo nipa wo so ye wo pani even fund no boss no lawyer Yaba no former MP no na MP I think he was the MP for about 12 years onu mpanufo a ewo so no I doubt to say womo beko annual general meeting na womo beka say yen kata ensem no so me no kan so ade ba ko ansie hu ene wiase no ayeketo abi wiase ayeketo abi ena wukọ net sisi a na wukọ hwe registration no na hwe company no na kọ jersey ho na wukọ ka sansem we se nyina ade bia wo pɛ no wonsa beka enti but see can so can say with the stock markets no that bia no wo hwe TV so benefit of technology wukọ London stock market wukọ New York Wall Street ni nyina akubi a friend din yam de say Dow Jones as say din yam de Jones ba gold prices market shares market capitalization da kosro da ba form into obi a o see na ni abre obe track system no onu kra no benya information more but once you say aban asem no aye mra na de achichire no afi bia no wo mo ho kunta on bebu achire o man Ghana the afi biara no we standing aban obewo ho owo nkunta obebu ama oman Ghana enti no minsro ewom ba mom de ase bo ho ban eni se won a dwumadie no ehye wonsa no won be mom ani ada ho na oma ye ne yie na mfaso a ebe ma Ghana no yenya na won mo a na ye skeptical about issues na won mo ma sheda say won be nyanka impaska no nanka obi besie aniwuo emra na Ghana nya ho faso because the future of Ghana no ye mu bi ye be wu akọ meti ye medi fi aduonum ni akire mewu akọ mum demrantie mo be chekakra ba mo so mo mrebe so na wo mo ayemu wo mo no eso mo so benya ho emfaso it is can ye adepa bi ema yen a they can benefit from that.
Mananka messages no comments no kakra Abraham Amwakon I say on the way free Seshi Dench the my friend is how Seshi I say NDC has nothing good for Ghanaians. Whatever policy which benefits the future, they dismiss it. For more, for Nana to do more. And Abraham, and so Eddie Amaye, Facebook. Justice or say, we shouldn't be happy about the money we will get at this moment, but how will it affect the future generations? And also there, or they Amaye, Facebook, and no 0302 211 701 0302 211 702 0302 211 703 na last one also akoye 704 obetimi afre na afei o adwenkyere bia na asembisa bia webisa na yetimi ayiwa no ofa clearly no o hwe omonte Agyapa Royalty Deal ase the big question, and he said, is this an attempt to capture the state? Is this a state capture? Wafa?
No, state capture, I say anything. State capture, yeah, there nipakuo bi. Ah, one piece of more ben buying. Edi wamutumi, ebefa a buying nema afa as individuals.
Now we shall.
At some way, you know, or minor some. Fund nini bi bia your minor some. Emra etachire no e your minor mra. Agreement wo ho nyina e your minor there. It's not for an individual. It's for the nation. Nti ye den na o man Ghana. Yes. Ade ye o minor there no. Obi ka say sampai en na busia afa a state capture. How? Mentiase. Say ye nanka ye individual bi ena yakofa ko be nam se me wo links wa ban mu ana me nua bi ana me wo fa bi ana madamfo bi ena ya kanana ena samfaso no eba yen ye botom dia na so ya fa kanana e de oman no ejapade no ya giafa but this is we ye ejapade bi a eye oman no dia entina e wo mra no mu se aban biara obeba no obeto aso if you say it is we just imagine say me media privately we say my buying free power abanfu for beba no obepini say memfa nti state capture na omo ka no e wo hemfa enti na make say adwuno pon na won krofo bi trim ansa na sem we nyina e be hya ase no eno na dia bedu de ye dure eno na ama narrative na discussion no I take this 10 what you say the politics are abekomu eno na dilute asem no ne de no nti sem post enka attorney general tro krata bi ebi otro wie ye no wo mo trans ni mpanufo nyina sisi nkonwa hu ye no wo mo so ye ne se asem we oka ye no esesa bibia nti once ye ka no san first letter we no tro ye no eno na krofo de ka asem but the letter current ones na ka wo mo adwene ene de beboa ema deal no na ayeye no once no de yen discuss because binom ayo omo su se de bia no yenkopenku hunu se yebenyanka asey bebenyanka asey no so yemfa nka asem me kana bra frank de ka asem no esem de ma me frank to Mary ni nasefo ho the make say these are important deals Mary ni nasefo no Ghana take or pay your book $500 million every year me boa say electricity no the producer ma mo be use so mo use so me why you use every year your book about $500 million sa niema we say no eno say important dealer yakomu ye narrative no about saying ye tro ho nsem saying
wofa we enkonko ye PDS de ebi ye mfa ye konko shem na fe ye hu say sana yanye due diligence conditions precedent conditions subsequent sa brofo no ye enkonko tibio wofa
me very certain say wo mai wo modjuma eyi very certain so my me say assembly too na one suyanyansa emfiri mu a da bia no asem no enya wo se ebesa beto nti se PDS assembly president num amama abrogate contract no say ye another contract na say yamfa eno anya nhweso de ne ye nhunu ne ye sa mistake ne dia ene Ghana for forgive you
okay for me more transfer Francis ewu Kumase Francis makwaba
yeah
Francis enti
good morning.
Hello, Francis. You.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Francis. You.
Now, me follow the discussions on the panel. The Imani Aircam. Hello.
Yeah, you talk.
Me follow pa na the Imani more Aircam. The Imani no more can the quantum of money as in Kenya.
Francis, who tell who on TV so anti dum TV no nakasa yetonka directly yetonka why and to dum TV no
hello
yetonka Francis
me see na Imani for kan
yes
mama yam fa ya din ko ye deal no die gidi say ye the good mo ye isa na o ma ye sika ebeboa enyina ama infrastructure you say ye kan ho asem no any school corner ye na ebeboa na the quantum of money imagine for see kedenya more than the here picking I think you need to come more. I think there's nothing wrong with it. If you come be into your book kakrana and ka ye deal ni na sense ka credit me are you na ebenya more money say sika bi enkenya more yeah and billions of dollars and ke beboa from you say mama ye sa enkom yi okay amu san hwemu mu san enhwem na the money for can say possible mo ye hwe na ye scan more
me da say Francis mama nko so manya na me ne David enkasa David what me nka David ahoma no at 030221170124 also so bra ye pese agye adwenche as many as possible na fi yetimi eto adwen no enti 030121170124 na odo adwenche no odo aba ofa na anuguso a
yeah ndina ka ji midit Agyapa as an international entity no ni our shareholders so obemma wo mo information as to when it's necessary and am gidi pass say wo why investment e wo sa entity no mu a there's no way because of what say na won follow that enti say ekoba say baabi be chia won no a wo no ye stakeholder no wo usika ehemu no won no obeka ho asem.
Okay, Shadrack Omankesim Shadrack me wakwaba
Yo, Major Souvenir.
okay, Shadrack enti you.
I think that the discussion in the Ekui. Nemo no Senebaya, Omangan and T. Ena, the boy one. Maybe say and a good way.
Oh, Kafra. Okay, over. To some men offer for bar.
Yeah, until we once international corporate governance, nyama nyina no. One thing
what for you? Brofo perpetuity. Ebi ana me na wo achimachi ase. Ekura ase. Won ti ase. Se ye ka se ye me de penny ma in perpetuity a. Won ti ase wo ho en say.
In test and say me the amount say until say will be free biase. Me the amount. Juma na di assurance no. The term perpetuity say sa company no until say yebeka say bibia atwa no wo mu na ehye wo mu ensem eno nkire say ya ton Ghana
say bibia no betimi asie ma yakase bia aban sachira ya aba enti yakoje adwuma no afiri Agyapa Royalties for nsem dey ma adwuma ku fufuro.
Definitely the contract clauses no may have matters because we hear contract bia no the fact that the man no say for their 30 years and 100 years no still no we dey ensem bi be mo a and wanye ni year definitely so say ade na won hwe ne ha say the fact that the man say hwe for 100 years for 50 years and
remember na be talk perpetuity ni so na na ya free kuma say na na kwa ba
na afani na joso
na na yenti o
ona bu na ya ni kuma ta safo ya babo yewura ya bu na baso pa ni enchejem papa wode mayen mejire se na na dan kwa ku pare de wabo mwade pa binya se ya sa to no so 2021 you will be the president no daga kan pese me kache yewura ne se ye be se na se mo ha me pa because manya kwa ye die se me kasa che no ba bia no wono subi ne wo subi abato no yen ya wo ha ne yen te ye kwaso bia ese ma tampa ma so ma ye di wo mon ka bibia fa
medase ana Agyapa Royalties nkomo ne etwetwe enye subi abato ofa we dey ofa ya ba
one fire I mean can quickly I would say
yeah
asem no sisi amino kasa no enkrofo bi di court
yes of course
wo mu bi kra say yen party panfo no yen kwachi yen kotum that is contempt nti asem e wo court no ana mo be na obetumi atu ho okoye bibi na tia court na we are building your case against you say won conquer them o just say nti me nua no e just say mesre because the matter is in court but notwithstanding that no asem e wo bia no ye be
fantastic Odro efrefi gomwa de rampon Odro mo akwara
opening me jodu CJ
yente Odro
yankopon insure no mo ho ban nda mo hwe wusiri blue na don't go there cry yankopon insure na me che sampan ehun besima na wole kire no ho se wiase na ye wona hu se kokoto do wo yanko na abojoro hyewa na wo so ayeden asazu na data wo de ho yes kruma ameri like ledunduma mahama ko fa pai yini anu mi ye de ko krum hadama na meri ko no wom na otdam hunia npp papa wa pe na bo acheja ku na busuafu bi ye hu ya da bam wo ko extending over 800 million man no so water ho the same apply the same thing to PDS okay ohawa da ma be yo de tuado na wo wi na wada won ho kokwasachi now what can some way we are telling them that the material you have into mummy fan 20 to mum wine but that's it
bro also with me afre na ya jowaje nche ma me kan messages no kakra Patrick Kubesika or say do you people understand the word perpetuity no dem say ma bisa offer am na chemu Silas Odum say Franklin will never say anything positive no matter how good even the dealers, he always looked for negative thoughts about every deal. Also, I don't know. Robert Edupoku or say the capability is obvious and clear. On only the other on Facebook, no Shadrach Ezua. I say the MPP government always brings up innovative programs and deals to benefit their members and families. I say though they are also Ghanaians, but their deals should be transparent to benefit all Ghanaians. That's why I hate MPP government, and they are posed to rule again. Shadrach Edifree Axim, and Ode no Ebaye offer. Ghana Fosuru, Arishimuno Asan Ode Maya, and Ihia, say Enconcoye Kotobe Kuma, Enconcoye so Chinebi, Yakayo, and a Monty, Nafi, Akoye Bibia, or I'm saying Chibiane, sorry, but still wait me a friend now.
I didn't be a binuma dikain, Eddie Atunko for Tim, and I must answer me about. But so we share document information. The biani data.
Of a my friend for no to think. Roxanne free man, Roxanne Aquaba.
Yo, there was and I pay me chair with you for na Agyapa do na ya kan wasa no me de se aba public no bia kire na adwene ho na me pese MPP for me MPP strong man para me kasa no na me pese me penny for ura sampa de me chair me pese ya tu ya bo na ye hwem say niana imani man no kano say quantum of the money that will come out of the deal no and na all kan wasem eti mesreo mara me kotodwe kufom menim say na do dan call you bema obo adwuma pa mapa ye hie sika hwe school kwalai ye hie sika ahwe adwumayefo ye hie sika atwa kwan ye hie sika asisi adan eti se betumi aye deal ni ye ama chikapudo bi efirimu aba ye ina ye ready say ye egu eti yanto ye bo na ye nhwem ne ye se betu ya sakra kakra wo ma ebeboa ye ya na yetumi enye sika abo ma ye ho bra medase pa
medase pa George answer or say Akufo-Addo and his family are looting from the state and we must kick them out. Go to Chebi and see how he's using taxpayers' money to develop his region. Interesting. Of an hour,
very, very uninformed. When not make about transparency,
yes,
no deal with see. There's nothing. We share the process of Marco Muno. Because will be a katabi so. Makancho said the House of Parliament is a public place, House of Documents. A deal the beko who biano enyira. Asima wo pe free mu bia no e wo ho eno na nchen no saa Agyapa no e international entity o enye ne eno be ye adwuma ena menyini se one ye adwuma we ade hye ne nsa no ena be ne final work what you say see what we wo wadwene a odi be develop ho mejidi se wonye wadwene se wo betina wakonya mu a wonya hwiwi ase
Debbie your plans
yes into we your bibia no a eno motivate you say wo be ye woniema eye say wo ba na be ye niema bi emfata na say asem kan ensisa wo lose job a be difficult say company for be high into identity no so yenhwe saa entity no yenhwe wo mo so because they are into international trade and all that into corporate governance business governance. Are they not going to practice it? Stakeholders now almost come on. Or my Ghana. Other private persons almost be called stocks.
Mami call Albert of Free Kumasi na menjo no so na drink share. Albert what's me kan?
Metun ka CJ.
Me mo akwa yenti Albert.
Ye ni a CJ. CJ metun kapa na de chene fe. Sade niema esi ekono. Any stance Imani Ghana for no atikino. The first say the best. I saw more personal hatred. You more mind sir. A group media they should come to the table as not sometime come. Because your words be not also. It was unprintable, but MCS people kakra. Na maybe you are almost your answer. Abino almost on your angel. Won't mean be 100%. But I was say your back table no. Now if you for transfer, you pay the right channel. So that be able to pay the better things for Ghana. Now, yeah, among them say, no, just printable words now. on your repository of all knowledge. And I was say Imani Ghana, President, no, oh, also who says, Obi the kind, Obi the Nachi, Obi sober. It is young Timana, yeah, but we also Casano. Now, so say, yes, you be Casabi Sachena, a day any day. And then maybe you are, young so blue, am I in pain for? Because Imani Ghana, and no one who a man, you are 2 abamo man I have you in national over a man. It will no air said man, that's a word in saving us all the bar. Young first have time, so I say, me, okay, not your be able to move up, and I'm saying, you're doing a far bound because any man I'm saying, oh, you know, and to me, no, and not the Kayi. A crowd of us who approach no the mountains, some no come in Kayi, the best film, and then maybe you are only a friend then, tin tanks near the. On bet you know, but I'm a banner, but the final first one. So also be few of them, young Fasa coin. And it's a Catano original, it's a hell in the Manama, headlines bomb screen. I mean, it was on printable words and a man also. We can use the same thing for him, but we don't do that. The entity, the movie you want to tear and yet found someone near the Adena. It's in my agreement in Tiadina. Okay. At the point, Grammy, you're going to tune off. What do you say? Wrong for them to do that. I would say,
I agent to a tour. So, I agent to a tour. Medasi. 030-211-70124. Over.
Antina Ghana government aban. Yeah, stakeholder project you more. There are other individuals who are more everybody. If you pay no investment, we say such content would the better baby. You were ni amobia yetedo sifa na. Nti that make us say transparency no me gidi say yeah yeso ye wo interest wo mu no yeso ani bedi ho na nsem we nyina nti ama nsempa bebrebe a ye wo manifesto mu a ese akiri microphone akoma asem we say abegiti
o ma mu say ukuta manifesto
because nsem wo mu a me no ehia me a pese Ghana for eti nkan because me your chechire ni eti niam bi on education especially one aspect bi a minimum a eya me depa the issue on encourage one more special.
And so I come 8 minutes. I mean, so I be 5 minutes without a
the chapter on education. There were aspects be my child from primary school almost all the levels. Now, who and near maybe I won't correct more.
Of me ba answer nebe kunu. Ma me ko kitase na me fa Gilbert akwaba.
Yeah, CJ we meje so medini ya Gilbert Boatin Ejare.
Okay, Gilbert yenti o.
CJ na pedi menye we CJ kesi e figi so pa ma fa enchiama Dr. Rashid kwesi etuafo. Ono na ye MPP candidate owo edumako enyane siam. Era DC isi o yira Ransford kwesi nya akunchia no Reverend baby wo bia ne pe Ejare chia no. The American na say CJ o say amemwe ka say good governance na nke yese one opposition ewo ho and I think I see the various civil society organizations one also alpha or more adventure in terms of some more critiquing idea but you see there's a difference between critiquing and criticizing. Obi or criticizing idea no or criticizing wrongs then kwana oka. Nemo who critique ya who analyze the idea no say ya both good and bad no who bet with the bad one thing. Now, said the enemy near Bacono air cow to Maseno. Means my monitor era, Franklin Cudjoe. Nobody's attacking you, maybe attacking a crowd. Stance we have a money Ghana as a civil society organization. Mean who say a buying we are a BBA, a money Ghana for to me because oh, we inquire the idea of buying we are a yet my one about Obeka. Now, saying as a equal court, what can I say? Almost court, Emma court, elbow who say. No more taking out on money and this is one and so back I idea yes or mushe no mushe because see na ye who mania want to me taking entrenched position so idea buying we be bia yenye would ye be bia buy we be no at the pub buying we crash me aye I'll bet me about buying about so say the encounter the piano MPP buying and almost by mistakes no more mistakes no be ya say they bet me at this car no who be use good work intemperate language na ye can media foundation for we resume with
media foundation for West Africa
me need omo wo ha Sansom will be saying, Kofu, as is a more conquerors on what we is on Metro Maggie. Because I won't tell what now they did your term name, because I've seen a bed, now, a my year, this year, yes, to see it, you know, and I think, if it's a yes, and Korayu, you follow Mutia, yeah, more church, I dream my yes, you will be a yabity. And Korati radio, Korati, you, the best then I was secondary school, on for phone. Okay, video Mampania,
Medase, you're the best entry for free for BBU, nothing, me fabe, Sima, me, Numi, and Sano, and Famami of Anafi. And what the track conquer, women can MPP track conquer. So,
a Ghana, you're all inclusive. No one is being left behind. Okay,
over to
we share page 56.
Yeah,
Ghana, your schools, Binuma, over the years, one performance at the basic level, no any. Into a league of one way we are not the beer. This manifesto, at the Sika $290 million. Ebe so Oma Senior and Korabe 2.3 million children, about 260 districts. Ebe benefited. Na yedibe peja womu, na womu aba abedru leveler adesono, ewa womu to be passing echo wonimono. A very important. And young Kranunkum teachers a woman so an infrastructure in ano a target. A part of your manifesto. The yami deba kunso a year and Korabi or year special children. Obi o hare obabi obi so akrewe na ni so issue unim autism
yeah
zayare no yeah yankura wo your society mu e wo bi nyina no ye no nyina ko school bompe by some ko mo specialized school your manifesto we say as infrastructure teachers are ye be mo specialized training material a year specialized for sankra no ye be ye ho adwuma. And it is part of this. And Sana de yeme de last week, mo amusimu call law school. I would say nipa be 5,000 cultural entrance exam last week. Yeah. Capacity no yes saying. A bit me 20%. Because last 2 years in December and last year capacity no yes saying. Legal education, the manifesto we say leadership of service, protection and progress, transforming Ghana for all. Assign I can say ye devote to sika near their trade infrastructure no name say legal education in Ghana no access no ababi brema obi a person akoye law bia no enkoye say na die ma nya kwan anko ye de san da makoma so eye babia ye see ye ne the private sector e kan bomu na yama Ghana abaye an industrial hub for IT, for automobile, for gold, then I say for gold, the any account the Agyapa. We say Ghana, you can't be a woman, Skako, a young wage mapa, Ghana, Kamu, South Africa, no, and so for Ghana, the Akutrumpa. Nanka, West Africa, and Africa, no. And then, you 3 year president, Madama, Iral Matenum, African Trade, or more center, no, the Abahanum. And no, should be an impetus for us, say, you did bet to and among. A developer Sanya Mano. One my year cars will has a assemble cars was here from VW. Toyota Eba on board. Sinotrack and so Ewo. So other Kantanka Ewo ho. Se have a year hub there were about 7-8 automobile assembly plants. We a DN and a beba of my him. And this manifesto a year partly for the development transformation of Ghana. Indeed, I am there said then in our chipay. Pepe, you go Cape Coast, near the cultural man. You be jammer, now you have a common sum. I'm a gunman besides say, the Yadena, then can draw the NDC for so a monco. I call Bio manifesto from the Nnawotwe Yi to send no be say, I'll move here, dear. No, I saw Mukway revision. They say, one with the 50 TFC, can tell no manifesto for
But even on that, information I mean, I say. The promise are model mark Cape Coast for some BC airport and I say harbor and no more pay free NDC for manifesto.
What manifesto be?
I feel from the Bible trouble team.
Nani pa for manifesto. So what's your vice president? Of the economic issues beto me Cape Coast na start primary school. Secondary school, me university education. Into minimum hopa, emra wo mu ka se Cape Coast ebehia airport no ebehia airport no enye ne what you say wo san hwe tourism for instance wo mu a eba so mo finkran no mo kokumase obi pese ofri kumase o ko tun for no ho hwe museum no ko hwe Asante artifacts na ya no be pese o be back Cape Coast direct eya on fa hin
okay ofa ma emphasize ya memre no aso ma yenda Ora Sampine or regional secretary for the MPP Ashanti region on Nobeka ho nanka esenka honorable Oklete Labi Lower Manya Krobo member of parliament Eban so entimi and my ensaka Ora Franklin Cudjoe president Imani Africa on also be joining via Zoom mamena me production team solid we be Campedu Joshua Tigo Nana Kwame Presela me cameraman solid guys me lights MCR obi bia Agyapa Royalties Deal no aban ngene ho se na dwene mu ne nakoma me beboa o man no a won koso na emom no se baby bia wo chena ye bedane ye chi ahwe ama ye se asem a won dwene hu bio midin the Chief Jerry Forson Nnawotwe Yi ye wada sene